Hello everyone, Empire Baron here. Thank you for joining me. We have another matchup between SKS Anxiety and Supernatural. This will be an Egyptian versus Egyptian. The last game they've played a total of 2 games. This is the third. The last game I tried to record had a little bit of an issue with Fraps. It didn't get it, but in that game, Supernatural did win. He came back and won. It was a very interesting battle, similar to the first, but Supernatural fixed his mistakes, won, beat Anxiety, and now we are seeing a mirror of Egyptians, but Fraps did mess up for me, so maybe we will soon see an observer mode, I guess. A guy can dream. Maybe someday in the future, I guess. At least now we have the spectator mode so we can see what it is. It's not the replay system that would be really nice so people could send games as a file. But until now, we will make this do, and we will at least get to see both sides of this matchup. A little bit about the last game that you saw is you saw the Supernatural made a few mistakes. He did not scout early enough, and that was what he admitted. One of the things he said, he didn't scout early enough, and in turn he didn't get Camel Riders out early enough to deal with those Lancers that came out. And really the key with Egyptian, especially against a civilization like Babylonian, you need to put the rush on. You need to get some sort of pressure going in that game early on and try to hurt the eco, or at least force them to react and not turtle up like Anxiety was able to do. He was able to get fortresses out and walls out, and that allowed him to get tons of upgrades. And it's similar to Greek, where if you can get to that end game, they are really overpowered, especially against Egyptians who do have some end game units, the elephants and the like. But compared to the Babylonians, they definitely are not quite as strong. So we are seeing this Temple of Ra now start the build order for Supernatural. It appears he has 4 on this hunt. He has 3 getting wood there. He still has 2 getting wood here, which I'm not sure if that's... No, he has the storehouse there, so that's an interesting strategy. He has split up his wood gatherers on 2 different sides of wood, and he has, like I said, the 4 here. He's populating this southern wood line, as now he sees the base of Anxiety has 5 villagers on wood, 6 villagers on this hunt, and a 7th going to that hunt. So more on food for Anxiety as he gets this barracks out first, where areas Supernatural went for the Temple of Ra and then the barracks. So now we will see a interesting little mix in the build orders. A little bit more pressure is on. Now we see Anxiety bringing spearmen up across the map, but being chased away early, as it looks like Supernatural has the better idea here and going with this early Temple of Ra compared to the early barracks of Anxiety. He's able to get his upgrades done a little bit earlier, and he still hasn't gone for them yet, as he is content to get out of stables a little bit earlier. So now we will see that stables come out before Anxiety stables, and maybe he's able to get some Camel Riders on the field. Now here we have a few spearmen. Nope, we have 1 spearman and then the axeman. So really there wasn't much benefit for Anxiety to get out this barracks before the Temple of Ra, and the stables is just about done, so some Camel Riders will start to come out there. I will talk about it a little bit earlier if you didn't stick around for the entirety of the last video, which shame on you. But there is a tournament coming out this weekend for the Clan Ghost. I am going to definitely be trying to stream as much of it as I can. Almost every single video, we're going to have a few people observing the games and recording the games to make sure we can get the tournament for you in its entirety. I will be active in the forums telling you about that and on my channel. And you can get the link to the stream, so support the game. Show that there is a community of people out there watching. There's been a few people streaming Zuda and the Mista, and I am going to start trying to get on there in the morning, Eastern Standard Time morning as well, and maybe a little bit more, a little bit in the evening. So I will have that link up for you as soon as I finish here, and I will start doing that, like I said, as often as I can. My son just turned 10 months old, so he's quite a handful now, but I have some time in the morning to do that and see how this game can really go from here. You know, now we have a bunch of good tools to use and to really make this game shine, and it is a beautiful game. We're seeing this first little major engagement here as Anxiety is putting on quite the early pressure here with these axemen, and a few camels are not going to be able to do it, it looks like, as Anxiety has put on quite the early pressure here and is able to force these villagers off this line. Now some reinforcements come in, enough slingers come in for Supernatural to push these axemen away. 9 axemen remain, 1 almost dead, but he was able to come in and he sniped these cows. He stole these cows and they have a long way to go, but he ended up taking them, and a few camels remain, as well as some slingers here make up the main force for Supernatural, as some slingers are coming in for Anxiety to try and put pressure on as well. Anxiety is able to take map control, but Supernatural has a little bit of a score advantage there of about 600 points, so not very substantial, very easy to come back from, but at the same time, all it takes now is Supernatural pushing this force away, and maybe some sort of counterattack will be possible. But look, now the pickaxe is going to go down for Supernatural as these slingers and axemen were able to take care of this southern wood line, force the villagers up here to the north as camels, and we are seeing slingers, 12 slingers there, and 4 camel riders. So now this force for Anxiety is coming up the middle as these camel riders who were needed at home are going on a raiding mission, and this force is going to take out this house as we see these camel riders turn back, run home, and some slingers are going to come in and try to do any damage they can going after these slingers. The house almost goes down, doesn't quite, and the force for Anxiety is going to be forced to retreat as these camel riders come back in to surround Anxiety, who is eking his way back into the game score-wise. We see he has a population lead. He's a little bit behind in villagers. Supernatural, has 28 villagers compared to the 26 of Anxiety. So even battle back and forth now as this Egyptian versus Egyptian mirror, which we haven't seen one of in a while, is taking shape. Now, since the last time I've seen much Egyptian played, there has been quite a few people who it has become their bread and butter civilization, other than Greeks, which I know right now are a little overpowered. So hopefully that's something that will be fixed in the near future. But these Egyptian civilizations, they have been played quite a bit more. We're gonna see these priestesses of Ra used on almost every single resource. Maybe not actually. We only see the one here, and we see these villagers are collecting food without that priestess. We are seeing 7 camel riders come in from the south, come into the south, but we are also seeing only 1 priestess as well on this town center, and that is more just to create villagers than anything else. Oh no, there's one here as well on the wood line. So we don't see one on the wood line though for Supernatural, but now the force for Supernatural of about 7 camel riders making their way around, kind of on a scouting mission, making sure there's nothing unprotected that he can kill. But we are seeing a bunch of axemen and camel riders and a few slingers just really make sure that force from Supernatural stays the heck away. Now the force for Supernatural is building up back at home. Camel riders, 4 camel riders in the front of only a few axemen and a group of about 30 slingers there. Now this group of 7 camel riders is going to greet the rest of the force for Supernatural as he is pulling quite a lead here, actually. You see he has quite the population lead. He still has a little bit more villagers. They're about even on villagers, but he is using his resources managing his resources a little bit better. We see the ratio is a little bit less on the food there, but he just has quite a bit more troops. Oops, sorry about that. He has quite a bit more troops. We see the force is right down here, 12 camel riders, 7 axemen, his scout, and 33 slingers is in there. So we are going to see some harassment here as the scout goes in, sees the weak position of Anxiety. Anxiety is now pulling his troops to the east. It would have maybe been smarter to pull this scout a little bit further south, but here we go. The first major engagement taking place on the city streets of Anxiety. Anxiety is kind of jockeying back and forth, but it looks like Supernatural, she got to be careful a little bit here. He can't get greedy in this position. He does not want to lose like he did in that last game you saw where he pushed his troops. This time there's no wall or there's also no fortress, but Anxiety has the benefit of having his troops at home and reinforcing them quickly. As you see, the population is still very much in favor of Supernatural, as he's being content now to keep map pressure on to the eastern side of the base of Anxiety, as now Supernatural is putting on the choke that Anxiety was able to do to Supernatural in the last game. Now we're seeing a group of 11 camel riders come around the east, and they might be able to hurt this villager line right here, force Anxiety to pull some troops off of this main line. Now slingers go in, get one round off at these axemen, take out a few axemen. We're seeing Supernatural micro those slingers very well. You pull them away, hit the S key, it stops the slingers, they fire a volley, and then you run out of the range of these axemen. These slingers have a speed of 6, which is a little bit slower than the speed of the axemen, so the axemen are able to keep up with them, and we saw they did just that as he narrowed that gap of the population a little bit, as he brings a bunch of cavalry in and tries to do some economical damage, but it looks as though he is going to lose a majority of these camel riders, and yes, only 4 of the 11 make it out, and I don't believe it was worth the attack there, as now Anxiety has narrowed this population gap. He still has equal amount of villagers. He is now using his resources wisely, as Supernatural has built a little bit of a stockpile up, and now we are going to see a pretty even mid-game. Anxiety was able to hold off that attack, forcing Supernatural all the way back to the base, and now Anxiety is going to try to put on harassment of his own with these 5 camel riders to the the western side of the base. We are seeing a little bit of a buggy Priestess of Ra there, but this is very even. Supernatural has the score advantage. That's just because he's been on the attack, but now we'll see Anxiety swing around with his counterattack. He's getting a little bit of a scouting information here. We see the second town center is up for Supernatural, but Anxiety's second town center has been halted. So that'll be an interesting turn of events, as now maybe we'll see Supernatural start to pump out quite a bit more villagers. There you see the gap is starting to increase as Anxiety needs to get that second one up. There it is now. He saw that Supernatural had his up already, so now he goes ahead and builds his, and it's a little bit behind, but not too far behind, able to come back, and we see the wheelbarrow upgrade going down for Anxiety, which will increase the movement speed and carry capacity of those villagers. A very important upgrade. But now we are seeing 12 camel riders come in, and they are going to be able to get, it looks like, a free gold mine hit, but very short behind. We are very close behind. Anxiety's troops are there, and a few villagers do go down. 2 villagers will go down in that engagement, maybe 3 at that point, but that increases the gap a little bit more. It's now up to a 7 villager differential between the two players, as Anxiety is slowly slipping behind in economy. Supernatural is getting a cache of resources together so that he can really start to put pressure on. Once he gets up, very soon he'll get up to that 180 population, as I believe he will drop down another town center very soon. Now his armory is going to go down, as well as that Temple of Set. So now the wheelbarrow upgrade goes down for Supernatural. So a little bit of a staggering of the upgrades there in the technology, but we are seeing now a dead even amount of population, 44 villagers to 46. So that differential has dropped, as Anxiety is also starting to build up his resources. We see Supernatural has used up a lot of his gold there on these upgrades. He's getting that champion camel rider, slinger champion upgrade. He has this large force here. We are seeing 46 villagers to 46 villagers. So even on both sides, they have the exact amount of military units. And now it is only a matter of time before we see some form of engagement go on. Now, as camel riders come down here, we are seeing scale, mail, and hide armor upgrade for Anxiety, as well as that chisel upgrade for stone. The force of 9 camel riders is getting a little bit closer. They're probably going to try to get a peek in on this stone mine and maybe just get a peek on some scouting information. These 2 champion camel riders for Supernatural are going to at least give him some time to notice. There we go. Anxiety has reached the Silver Age. So now both players are at the Silver Age, and a fortress is going down here in the middle of the map for Supernatural, as we start to see these defensive positions get created, lines drawn in the sand, so to speak. Now next to this fortress, a town center is going to go down, but these slingers and axemen are going to see it and try and prevent it from being going down, but that is just too small of a group to go against the entire force of Supernatural. But seeing the entire force of Supernatural there, Anxiety pushes these camel riders around. He takes out this stone mine. There's a bunch of idle villagers up here to the north for Anxiety, as now maybe some villagers will go down and maybe a house will go down, as Anxiety is going to be forced to respond. Supernatural is going to be forced to respond, bringing camel riders of his own. But we see champion camel riders for Supernatural and only regular camel riders for Anxiety. That might be enough. We see only regular slingers, and we see slinger champions and axemen, only regular axemen as well for Supernatural. So very interesting timing here. Those slinger champions just started for Anxiety, so now might be the time for Supernatural to try to put some sort of pressure on here. He has this fortress that he can retreat to, and Anxiety just needs to delay a little bit longer until these slinger champions are able to complete. We are seeing the force for Supernatural move down to the south, undefended base, and these villagers are going to be harassed, but not much damage done. Anxiety responded very quickly, pulling them away. Supernatural now was able to push around to the eastern side of the base of Anxiety. Those slinger champions are still almost completed, but not done. And there they go. Supernatural didn't realize that he had a timing opportunity right there. And now it is over just in time for this engagement. Anxiety delayed just at the proper time. We're seeing one house goes down, so it reduces the maximum population for Anxiety for a slight second, as the populations are almost equivalent, except Supernatural has a little bit of a disadvantage. I don't know if this situation is the best for Supernatural to put this pressure on, but he is gonna hold out here. He's keeping the elephants in the back, as we are seeing just slinger versus slinger. That temple, that priestess of Set in the middle, just barely staying alive there, but pulling away in the right moment, just in the nick of time. This pressure for Supernatural is holding on, right? You see he has quite a supply of gold built up, and he's keeping steady pressure on. We're seeing his melee units. Oh no, Anxiety is lagging a little bit, but we're seeing his melee units hold their own in there. But we are seeing one of them just got switched there. You see these priestesses of Set are in the back trying to trying to turn units to their side. But now Anxiety was able to push away this force. Supernatural, it seems, was trying to buy himself some time so he could secure this middle part of the map. Maybe now he's got some farms going in a very gutsy location for those farms. But with that said, we'll look at his armory real quick. He's got a few upgrades left before he upgrades to that next age. But now Anxiety has got some hunters expanding to the west, and that market is very dangerously close to the base of Anxiety, as Supernatural just plays with such guts. He knows that he's going to have to be able to respond to that quickly, but with that said, he doesn't have his troops anywhere but here in the middle, and we have quite the engagement as fire just rains down from that fortress on these slingers, which aren't very well suited to go up against a fortress. So very wisely, Anxiety is going to return back to the south part of his base here, or to the eastern part of his base, and Supernatural is going to push his slingers up into this choke point here, and he's going to take out a few slingers that are badly positioned, and he is trying to bait the force of Anxiety into his fortress. It's not going to work that time like it did the first time, but this market is able to get up. A fortress is in the middle. Oh, that is just such bad timing for that fortress to go down. I don't know if Anxiety is aware. He is not aware of that fortress. I mean, of that market there. So he is building this fortress as a good position blindly, but I think that fortress may also be able to cut off the, no, I don't think it has the range. So that market may be able to sneak some caravans. That'll be interesting to see. Maybe to this town center here. I'm not exactly sure, but now we are seeing Supernatural building a wall here, and I'm not even sure Supernatural does not have vision of this. And very interesting, as these villagers making their way down to build that wall are being blocked off, as now Supernatural, or Anxiety, is aware of this market and is going to start to deal with it, as he's going to also build the wall just to kind of mess with him, as now his main force is going to come in, and Supernatural is going to be up Poops Creek with this this market going down now, and I don't know how he's going to be able to respond, where he's going to be able to put that market, as Anxiety is starting to choke off like he did in that last game and take map control, where these walls were never able to go up. They were the villagers were killed. This wall was able to go up, but not much really on this side that he could do to protect against. It's really this main entrance that he needs to be worried about. I guess that stops some harassment of some troops sneaking up to this part of the base. But as predicted, Anxiety was able to remove this western part from his base, and now Supernatural is gonna move to protect the southern part of his main town center and his main town. But Anxiety is going to hold in front of this fortress here. And we are seeing a slow back and forth battle. The 22-minute mark is upon us. And Supernatural has quite a bit more resources. He is at 60 villagers, and that is to the 62 villagers of Anxiety. So that is right around, when we see this age 3 at 180, you should be right around 60 villagers. We see a little bit stockpile of resources for Supernatural, but I don't know. I can't tell who is really in the lead. We see the score is very even, 24,000 to 23,000. Very back and forth battle. Anxiety looked like he was going down, and Supernatural was going to take over like he did in the last game that regrettably nobody got to see. But Supernatural did take over on this map, doing a similar strategy, and won that game. But now we'll see if Anxiety can learn from the late game woes that he had in that last war and take over this one and do the harassment that he needs to do. He was not able to put on any economical damage in that last game. That now you're seeing some of these camel riders sweep around the western side of the base for Supernatural. But I just see Supernatural has so much stockpiled resources, and even now he has just spent a bunch of them on something. I'm not exactly sure what it was. I didn't see anything come up in the queue, but we see some elephants go down now for Supernatural as he is starting to move into this end game scenario and beef up his units. These slingers will start to play less and less of a role as this game progresses, but right now that is the main makeup of their force. Now we're seeing that chainmail and leather armor research go down, as maybe I can find, there it is, the armory there. You can take a look at that. For the upgrades there, as well as here, the upgrades there, as Supernatural is slowly moving the main bulk of his force here, while Anxiety is moving the main bulk of his force here and moving around to the west and putting an attack on his. Both players are putting an attack on the base, as Supernatural has now reached the Golden Age. So that was what he was working on with all of his resources. I thought it was something expensive, and he has got to the Golden Age. Anxiety was already at the Golden Age, and now Anxiety has quite the gold advantage, as we are seeing Anxiety has retreated his troops to go back and save the main part of his base. I don't know if this town center is going to be able to be saved. It looks like it will be, as Supernatural is going to be forced to turn around and deal with these slingers and elephant archers that we have joining the fray. As now Supernatural, his force is getting deeper and deeper into the base of Anxiety, cut off, and not much harassment or damage going on for Anxiety into the base of Supernatural, as he is content to try and clear out his own base, because I believe Supernatural still had a bit of a lead, but now that lead is dwindling, as Anxiety was able to get up that next town center and get the population up. But we are seeing some villager damage being done by Supernatural, as he is killing villagers, but at the same time villagers were being killed by Anxiety, so they are still about even. But now we are seeing Anxiety has quite the population advantage, about 35 population, but the whole group of slingers is being run through the fortresses of Anxiety, being chased by camel riders and slingers, and they are doing quite a bit of damage into that force for Supernatural. And now Anxiety is back almost to max population. He has a good map control set up. He has this wall here preventing raids on that side. There's no wall on this side preventing anything here, but we see the 4 town centers go up. Still no fortresses in this battle, but no stone is even really being collected. We saw that one fortress in the middle here for Anxiety, and Supernatural's fortress is here, but it's not like the last battles where we were seeing fortress after fortress after fortress being built to reinforce positions. Now we're seeing a battle take place where Supernatural has a few elephants, 3-4 elephants, and a catapult to propel him back into a position where he might be able to, if he can keep these positions, these higher tech units alive, he may be able to stage some sort of comeback, as we see the population drop for Anxiety, but not quite as low as Supernatural, who is now losing those high expensive units as the Anxiety breaks through the lines and trying to push onto this fortress here, as the last elephant goes down here for Anxiety, or for Natural, as Supernatural is really starting to take a beating. It looks like he was not able to recuperate completely after he aged upgrade. He spent the money to upgrade his age, and it allowed Anxiety the time he needed to get into this position, as we see some catapults come in, and they just get destroyed so quickly, even though that one was holding its own for a decent amount of time. But there it goes. Just such good play we're seeing by Anxiety, as Supernatural is gonna GG there. Thanks everybody for watching. So Anxiety was able to take the grudge match. Sorry everybody didn't get to see that second game. Maybe someday we'll get to see a replay system come down. But Anxiety was able to take that series. As I said before, there is a tournament coming up this weekend, so check that out. Maybe I'll get to get some more games going on for everybody today. But with that said, Anxiety, great played. Supernatural, very well played. This mirror matchup, we haven't seen one of those in a while. So thanks everybody for watching, and bye, Baron out.